Welcome back to another story time. You guys, I am having a rough time trying to record this video. Bismillah, this is number three try. Number three try. This is so on my nerves. Okay, I have 6 story times, all in the same category of relationships. Okay, 6 story times that I want to share with you guys, and hopefully anybody watching this video does not fall in any of these categories. Number one story time. I had a friend. I was in my 20s, mid or late 20s, mid 20s, maybe, I think. Um, where we worked together, and she had a boyfriend that was, let me tell you how he was. He never lifted a finger to do anything, not to go to work, not to do anything. I can't think of this guy lived off of all his friends and family, all of his friends and family. She met him one night at a club. He got her pregnant, and she was attached to him from that night on. That night on, he still treated her like a stranger, unless he needed a place to shower, eat, wash his clothes, and play video games. That was all he did. That was, as a matter of fact, he used to take her car and not come back for like 6-7 days. And then she would complain about it, but then she would catch herself complaining about it and pretend like she was okay with it. She was totally not okay with it. She was pregnant, she was expecting, and she would be asking for rides from me and other people. And then when she had the money, she would take like Lyft or Uber. Or she would, I'm saying Lyft or Uber. She took a cab. Once in a while, I think, once in a while she would take a cab, because we would rotate giving her a ride to work, like on those, when he would go on his hiatus, like to, and just take her car. He didn't live with her, but she would go like do full-on shopping sprees for him with clothing and shoes, and have it like in her closet as if he lived there. But he would never take those. He would carry around a backpack with an extra pair of shoes in it, and like the clothing that he liked, like his own clothing that he already had when he met her. So that was a rough situation, because she was literally in a relationship by herself. She would be calling him, he would never pick up. She would be texting him, he would never respond. But the times that he would text her, he would say, "I'm on my way," like those kind of texts. He wouldn't go to her doctor's appointments. She would be, and at the times that she would be like super frustrated, she would talk double talk. And I could tell she was frustrated, because she would complain that he's never there for her, and that he would tell her, he would insult her, like hurt her feelings. And then like right mid sentence, she would say, "Oh, but he gives me money." Like, no, he doesn't. She would tell the stories like every night she said that she would be looking out of her window to see if her car was being repossessed, because she couldn't make the payments on it, because she was spending so much money on buying him clothing. She was also spending money on trying to prepare for the baby, and so her money was getting short. No, her money was not getting short. She was just misspending her money. She's trying to prepare for the baby, and then buying him all of these gifts, some of the gifts he never even opened up. Like, it was, that was rough. So, but she was doing all this. It's not like he wanted her to do these things, because he was MIA. Like, he was doing his own thing. He would stay with his sisters, he would stay with his mother. But he would like take her car a lot and like not show up. And then she would like take up for him, like, "Oh, but he changed my tire on there." Oh, and then she would make up random weird lies like, "Oh, he gives me so much money." But it's like, but your car's being repossessed. If he's giving you so much money, you need to make your car payment. But it would just be things that just completely did not make sense, just because she needed to say that. I don't know. I don't know, because it's not like he claimed her. The worst part about it, not only was she's expecting she's pregnant with his child, and he had already 3 children. Already 3 children born. The oldest girl was 4. And then he had two other babies on the way by 2 different ladies, plus my friend. So he was, need I say more? So yeah, that was rough. So, okay, I don't want to spend any more time on that because I feel like this video is going to be one of those 47-minute long videos. And my subscribers know I can get pretty chatty on here. So, the next story time was a married couple where, once again, this lady, I don't even know why she was even running around town saying that she's married. She never saw her husband. He bought her a house. They had 2 children. He bought himself a house 2 hours away from her. Bought himself a house. He lived in his own house. When he really rarely allowed her to go there. I don't know why she wasn't really allowed to go there. Because it's not like you heard about him all around town, like, oh, he's for the streets. Like, it wasn't like you really heard things about him. He just didn't live with, you know what, he didn't live with her, but it's not like she was dirty. It's not like she didn't keep herself up. He just didn't live with her and the kids. It's like he didn't want a family. He wanted a family probably for like holidays, but like he didn't want a family. So he bought himself a house separately from the house that he bought her 2 hours away. And she would try to create date nights for him that he would not show up. She would reserve places, reserve restaurants, reserve Airbnbs, reserve hotels. Like, she would do this. First of all, she was being a fool, because after a while she should stop doing that. But in her heart, she believed, because he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come this time, she would keep doing it, just round in a circle like a crazy person. Like, why are you doing this? He's never showing up. He would not, if she was going to talk to him about anything important, like the kids' doctor's appointments, or showing up to like school recitals or things like that, just show up to the park and have a basket of fruit. Like, she could talk to him about like nothing kind of stories, but if it was anything having to do with, oh, the pediatrician said that he needs to take this vitamin, or anything serious, she couldn't have that conversation with him. Okay, I was being a bit nosy. But, so yeah, any serious conversation, she could never talk with him. If he even thought it was going to be serious, he would avoid her like the plague. He would not. She would show up to his door. One time oh my gosh, man, I do not miss being in my 20s. She had me, I think I was like 28. She had me drive her there, because if he saw her car, he would know it was her pulling up. But you know what? He saw us coming anyway. He knew my car. So, but I guess she thought she was going to take a chance. So she had me drive her to his house, and we saw him like through the windows. But then when we were like ringing the doorbell, he would not open the door. He did not answer the door. Anyway, these, I don't know how. I do know how. But in her situation, like, when you are not tied to a person for survival reasons, I don't know what to say. Like, why is this happening for so long? So, okay, let me not go on too long about that. But yeah, look, don't let that be don't be in these categories, okay? So the next story, another lady that I work with, by the way, these are not brand new story times. Another lady that I work with, she was literally the entertainment of the lunchroom. During lunchtime, she would tell everybody at work these awful stories of, she would always refer to this guy as her man, my man this, my man that, not boasting on stories of him or them going out or just enjoying themselves, or things that they've, got places that they've gone together, or drama, total drama stories. Like, everyone was like captivated by this. But you know what's funny? In all of these situations with these women, if you even breathe or try to hint at maybe you shouldn't be in this kind of situation, they would rip your head off. Like, there was no, like, I've even been in, and not this story time, but I'll tell you in the next story time, where you try, sometimes you'll try to say like, that's like really not a good situation, and you don't need to be in that kind of situation. Why are you sticking around? That person completely rip your head off. Like, they would rather stay in the abusive or neglectful kind of situations rather than somebody say, hey, this is not good, right? They don't want to hear it. So it makes people just silent, like, okay. So y'all, you know what, I've tried to record this video so many times when the sun was like in the perfect place, but now it's setting, so I need to talk faster. So yeah, she would tell just the worst stories of, if he doesn't show up, if he doesn't meet up with me, just gonna look on his IG and he's probably gonna have another girl with him. But but next weekend I'm gonna try to be with him. And I'm like, you're saying that this is your man, and you're comfortably telling us that he's going to be taking other girls out. Like, this would happen all the time. But for some reason, she wanted to be in his lineup of women that he would, I guess, take out once a week. Like, however he was spreading his time between them, she wanted to be in that circle of women. I don't know the word that I'm looking for. She wanted to be in that batch of ladies that he was just dating everyone and then fighting over him. And if she comes to my house, then I don't know where me and my daughter is gonna go. Why are you in this, voluntarily in this kind of situation? So anyways, a whole hot mess. Oh, she would be purchasing tickets for him to go to games, concerts, booking hotel stays, things that he would never show up for. And then she would come to work like steaming hot, like upset that he didn't show up. Why are you upset? But I guess because in her mind, that was her man. He was everybody's man. So yeah, that story time, that was story time number 3. Story time number 4. I knew a lady who would drive 4 hours to this man's house, where each and every time she had to DoorDash the food, because it wasn't like she drove to his house and he had food already prepared, whether it was catered or he prepared it himself. Nope. She would get there and have to order the food, or have it, like, DoorDash the food or whatever. And I'm making it sound like this happened a lot of times. I think maybe 2 or 3 times. Maybe at the 3rd time that she had driven 4 hours to his home, because he was never going to come to her, and he was not even going to meet up with her halfway. Mind you. And he was the one, anyways. I was going to say he was the one who was actually, I think, more financially well off than even she was. But yeah, all of that wasted hours of driving all the way to his place, and he turned her down. He was like, oh, nope, I don't like you. Please don't be that person. Why are you not? Why is she go, like, that's above and beyond. You're driving too far. You're ordering the food and paying for the food for you guys to eat, and then you're driving all the way back home just for him to say, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, that's doing too much. So I guess that was not a real relationship, but like, I'm just saying the imbalance, not cool. That imbalance, so the next story time is, this couple was actually married, and they were married for like, I think 13 years at that time. They had 2 children. They were married for like 13 years. Both of them very financially well off. He never, in his mind, he was completely not married. She did everything. She would even be talking positively about him to other people. She bought her own wedding ring. She wasted a lot of money as well, booking vacations and things like that, she and the kids would be the only ones going on vacation, because he never went on vacation with them. Or she would, like, it would be her and the kids that would go on vacation, or she would like invite like me or another friend to like come with her, because he wasn't gonna go. He's just like, oh, no, I'm not going there, too bad, you guys, see you later. And so she would like invite a friend or 2, just because he's like, I'm not going on vacation with you guys, I don't know who you guys are. Like, he didn't want anything to do with them. But she was literally a married single lady. But it's not like she even talked badly about him. She admired him, but he wanted nothing to do with her, and he openly showed that. It didn't matter who was around. He would openly show that. He wouldn't even stand. A couple of times we went to, we had like a celebration together that he was there. He never once acknowledged her there. And she would like go over to him and like try and like make small talk with him. He would like walk away from her, not in a rude way where anyone who didn't know would notice something, but he was like, I'm not trying to talk to you, I don't know you. Never wanted to be around her. And the next story time, yeah, like this is rough. Let me quickly, I'm at 14 minutes. The next marriage situation, this lady, she was married to a man who, he seemed to be a nice guy. I should say, he seemed to be unproblematic. She was another lady in her relationship, a married single lady. They both were, no, he didn't, I won't say they both were financially well off. How it looked from the outside looking in, everything looked very smooth. She lived off of her school loans. She was making it work. She worked and she went to school, so she had her finances from her work. She had school loans where she would use the extra money to do whatever it is she needed to do. If they needed a new refrigerator, and this is a real example, they needed a new refrigerator. She ordered the refrigerator, but she didn't want to pay for the setup, the setup fees. They delivered it, but if they came in and bought it and set up, they would be extra. Nope, she had a dolly because this was her life. She had to do everything. She literally put that refrigerator on a dolly, pulled it in the house, set it up, plugged it in, got it all set. Like, she did that with everything, and he literally would sit like a fat rat. Not literally, he wasn't fat, but like a fat rat, and not lift a finger to do anything. He would like stay on his phone, stay on a computer, go in his own little den area. He had it was like a den. It didn't have a door on there. Anyone could just like, you could see him in there, but he would like stay in there and be like chilling in there, doing just whatever he was doing. And he was a bum. He worked, but I'm so like, no, I won't say I'm so confused. There's a lot of different circumstances and situations where you guys know what mine used to be. So on that note, as far as, I don't know what word I want to use. Sometimes, and I feel like not these story times that I just told you guys, but I feel like sometimes when people are in relationships for a long time, a lot of times it's tied to their survival. Like I was telling you guys before, in a lot of my other story times, I couldn't imagine getting myself out of that situation because my marriage, it was like, it was tied to my survival. It's kind of like the reasons why a lot of people stay at a 9-to-5 job, because it's tied to their survival, even though it's very unhealthy for them. So that's how my marriage was. Like, it was for me, it was tied to my survival. I was like, I can't even make a move out of this, because he, at that time, in the beginning of our relationship, he handled the majority of the bills. I can't even remember what, I think I used to pay like the 2 credit cards and gas for my own car. But it wasn't like I made my car payments or paid the car insurance on it or anything. Like, it was gas for my car and things like that. That's what I did. That's what I did with my money. I worked, but he worked, but he worked for corporate, and he had all the money. So I ended up staying longer than I should have been, and I thank God for blowing that up, because I could have never in my own strength done that. And God knew that. That's why he was like, girl, you need to not even be in this situation. So God had to blow it up he had to like show me, like he had to destroy it publicly for me. That was not easy to go through, but God had to do it that way, or I'd be in the ground somewhere, to be honest. So yeah, a lot of times I feel like people stay in situations, because I'll raise my hand for that, because you feel like it's tied to your survival, and you stay in these toxic, awful, abusive situations for such a long time. Just And the reason why you're not dead is because you didn't die, but you're spiritually dead, you know? So a lot of times people are in relationships like that. I know, even currently, I know a lot of married single women. A lot. They do everything. Even if they had to have welfare, be on welfare just to make their family life work, just so the kids can eat. And then it's not like they're going and putting this on public display, but they're doing this just so they can stay in their marriage, because they cannot imagine taking those steps to get out of it. And even if they could, they know it's going to be hard, so they're going to choose to stay in an abusive situation where they know they don't feel good in it, but they're kind of used to it, so they know the ins and outs of it, so they'll just stay, and they don't want to deal. And that's, like I said, that's not easy, but they don't want to take those steps to get away from that, because it will be equally or more hard to get away from it, especially when you have, you know, it will become a public thing, somewhat of a public thing, especially if you come from community. And no matter what ladies say, women are not usually on women's side. If you didn't know that, now you know. So when I say on women's side, Not that you have to cape for somebody, but women will oftentimes make it very hard for another woman because they will say all kinds of lies about that woman. And so now you have all this outside criticism, and also you're dealing with the death of your family, but you're trying to survive at the same time. But the world is being very harsh on you because eventually a divorce is going to become public, you know? So, yeah, that's it. It's gonna feel weird for me to say I hope you guys enjoyed these story times. No, I'm not gonna say that. I hope you guys are not having any similar situation to any of these story times, because this is not a good situation. So if it's you, you just know, get yourself into a relationship with God so he can start showing, he can start guiding you, because when God guides you, it's unlike any other. He will get you around things that the carnal mind cannot think of. When God starts to fill you with his wisdom and put blessings before you, it's no human can do these things. No human can do these things. All praise is for God. He is the creator. We worship the creator and not his creation. Until next time, I hope you guys, if you are in a situation like this, think about what I'm saying and try to better your situation slowly, one day at a time. Get into a relationship with God by talking to him and spending that time with him each and every day, and watch the downloads that start happening, and he will slowly start moving you out of that situation, and he will restore you with a better one. Whatever it is that you have lost, you have to be restored. God is going to restore you with whatever it is that you lost. So keep that in mind, and until next time, I will talk to you guys later.